I'm Brandon Lee, and today's video is going to be about Samyang's much anticipated 1.7x anamorphic adapter for their Cine VAF lenses. I've had this adapter for a few weeks and I've had a chance to go out and give you some real world results. So you're going to see a lot of sample footage with this adapter, and I'm going to give you my honest review. I did receive this from Samyang to test, but I was not sponsored for this video. Let's get into how this adapter physically works. To attach it to the lens, first thing you do is unlock this lever on the bottom, and then it fits onto the front of the lens snugly, and you slide the lever to lock it in place. One thing I really like about this adapter is that you don't have to screw it in, it locks in place. With other anamorphic adapters that you have to screw in, you need to make sure that the adapter is perfectly aligned after it's been screwed in, otherwise you will get diagonal bokeh. You'll get bokeh that's skewed to one side if it's not aligned properly. With this adapter, there's no chance of that happening because it has this locking mechanism instead. Right now I have the adapter on my 100mm t2.3 lens, but it also works on most of the other Cine VAF lenses. So it works on the 24, the 35, the 45, and the 75. It does not, however, work on the new 20mm lens. That lens is just too wide, and the adapter probably can't stretch it enough to fill the frame. Now, one big question you probably have about this adapter is, does it have autofocus? And I'm sad to report that no, it is 100% manual focus only. And you focus with this ring up here on the adapter. You do not focus with the focus ring on the lens. This focus ring on the lens, once you add the adapter, can be used for aperture control, and it can also be used for a special function called soft focus, which I'll explain a bit later, but it is not used for focusing the lens. This is a bit disappointing to me because I thought that Samyang was going to finally come out with the world's first autofocus anamorphic system, but that was not to be. So it is 100% manual focus, and the only way to get autofocus here is to hook up a focus motor to this adapter and then attach a LiDAR autofocus system like the DJI Focus Pro onto that focus motor, and then you would get autofocus. Sorry to bear the bad news for anybody who's expecting an autofocus anamorphic system. Now, one thing that's really appealing to me about this anamorphic adapter is that I can use the same set of lenses for spherical shooting and for anamorphic shooting just by adding this adapter. And that's great not only because I don't have to repurchase my lenses, but also when I'm traveling, imagine just how huge a kit of 5 full-frame T1.9 or T2.3 anamorphics would be. So for me as a travel filmmaker, having an adapter that takes all of these lenses and turns them into full-frame anamorphics is really valuable. And that's one reason why I would consider continuing to use this anamorphic system instead of purchasing a separate kit of anamorphic full-frame lenses. There's a special feature of this adapter called soft focus, and here's how you enable it. You switch into mode 2, that's M2 on the side of your lens, and then you hold down the focus hold button while you turn the focus ring of the adapter toward the minimum focus direction, the MOD, minimum operating distance. That will engage soft focus, and you'll know that soft focus is engaged because an amber colored LED will light up on the side of your lens. If you turn off the camera, the soft focus remains engaged when you turn it back on, but if you switch over to M1, that will disable your soft focus. Now, what exactly is this soft focus? Well, that's something I've been trying to figure out. It seems like it slightly detunes the adapter. Maybe it focuses the spherical lens separately from the adapter, I'm not sure. But the resulting effect that you get is a somewhat blurry image that has a bit of a glow to it. I'm not sure if I like it, to be honest. I think a very small amount of soft focus might help to overcome some of the digital sharpness of the image, but otherwise I probably would not use this effect very much. But if you're looking for a special look, a vintage look maybe, or just trying to smooth out someone's skin features, then maybe the soft focus would be useful to you. Let's talk about using this adapter on a gimbal. Here I have the DJI RS4. This is not the RS4 Pro, this is just the RS4. The adapter makes the rig very front heavy. So even with the camera pushed all the way back, I'm still not able to balance the tilt axis. As you can see right here, it's falling down. It's very out of balance. And remember, this is without any focus motor. This is without any filters in front of the lens. This will only get more front heavy if I add more accessories. So basically, if you're trying to use this Anamorphic adapter with an RS4 or a similarly sized gimbal, it's a no-go. You're gonna have to use a bigger gimbal like the RS4 Pro. There's one design decision of this adapter that really annoys me, and that is the lack of threads, which means that if you want to put a filter on the front, you cannot screw it in. You have to use a 95mm matte box instead. If you already have a matte box like a Tilta Mirage or the SmallRig Mini matte box, then this is probably not a big deal for you. You just clamp on your matte box and you're good to go. This is fine probably for handheld shooters, it's fine for people using a tripod, but for me as a run and gun shooter, I much prefer circular filters, not only because they're smaller and lower profile, but also because they attract less attention when I'm out shooting in public. The moment you put a matte box on a lens like this, you look like a cinema shooter. You look like a professional filmmaker. And if you're filming in some public place and you don't want to draw attention, like I do frequently when I'm doing my travel content, then that's not a good thing. I don't want to be noticed. Additionally, if I do try to mount this up on a gimbal, then a matte box adds extra weight up front and makes it hard to balance. I've been looking for a clamp-on solution or something else that I can do to add an ND here, but I still haven't found it. So all of my test footage so far has been shot without any ND filter whatsoever. I just used a fast shutter to compensate. So here's my overall thoughts of this 1.7x adapter. The first and most important thing is the look. I do like the look of it, especially with the wider lenses. It really does have an anamorphic feel. I get that oval bokeh. I get some lovely flares. The image is stretched wide, but not too wide. So whether I use it in 2.66 aspect ratio or 2.39, I still have a lovely looking image. And it's very sharp with relatively few lens flaws like you would see in other lower priced anamorphics. So if you're looking for a very clean image with a good amount of squeeze that still has the real anamorphic look, then this adapter is great for that. I really do like the form factor. I like that I'm able to clamp it on instead of screwing it on, which means I never mess up my alignment with my lens. And of course, there's a huge benefit of being able to use one adapter with 5 lenses, which means that my spherical kit suddenly becomes an anamorphic kit, and I don't have to pack a second kit of gigantic full-frame anamorphic primes. Here's the main drawbacks to this system for me. First of all, with the longer lenses, I'm not in love with that peanut-shaped bokeh, or the squarish bokeh. It's a little bit digital and a little bit harsh. And while it does actually match the look of some vintage anamorphics, it's just not my favorite overall aesthetic. I'd rather have softer bokeh that falls off in the background and doesn't call attention to itself. Additionally, because of the size and the weight of the adapter, I can't properly balance it on my gimbal, but maybe I'll figure out another solution for that soon. And there's that issue of the lack of filter threads, which I mentioned earlier. That's really annoying to me. I just want to be able to slap a filter on the front and screw it in, but I can't. So I have to figure out some other solution. So do I overall recommend the Samyang 1.7x anamorphic adapter? I do recommend it, especially if you already have the Samyang VAF kit and you're looking to shoot mostly handheld on a tripod, or you're okay with using a much larger gimbal. I like the overall look of it quite a bit, and I think this is a great solution if you're looking to get into anamorphic, but you don't want to buy a full dedicated kit of anamorphic lenses separate from your spherical lenses. And here's another thing, you could probably mix cropped spherical shots with your anamorphic shots in your edit. That way you can get a nice anamorphic look to the shots with less camera movement. And then for the shots where you need a lot more movement or you need autofocus, you can use the spherical lenses. And overall, the look won't be that different because you're using the same lenses. You're just switching out the adapter. Okay, so that's my review of the Samyang anamorphic adapter for the Cine VAF lenses. If you want to learn more about it, there will be a link in the description of this video. And if you want to learn more from me, check out the link to my film school Unscripted Studio, also in the description of this video. Otherwise, please click like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.